Hello, good evening to all Sri Lankan students who are working at study home. I wish you a very happy new year and may all your new year wishes come true. I'm Lakshman Perera. Chanaka have requested me to do a small video clip on some various aspects of your study related activities, and I would basically would like to have some extended sessions on the future subjects that we are hoping to discuss. And my main things that I'm going to cover is, first of all, who am I, and then I would cover areas like studying abroad and the various aspects of things that you have to know to become a global accountant, and what are the avenues that you can look into of maybe learning or studying abroad, or maybe becoming an accountant and working abroad, etc., in a different country. So I am living in Alice Springs, Australia. Alice Springs is a area, small village, like a city council, where there are about 30,000 people, and I also work for a local government as a finance officer, and would like to cover basically how the Australian education system works, and what are the systems of accounting and financial reporting in Australia. And one of the main things I would cover is why people are willing to come to Australia, and what are the prospects that people who come into Australia have, and comparatively, what are the living standards, differences in living standards in Australia compared to Sri Lanka. So some of you may know that I am also coming from Sri Lanka, specifically speaking from Katugastota. I have lived my whole life in Katugastota up to maybe 2010 from my birth year. And currently I'm working in Alice Springs in a local government organization called McDonald Regional Council as a finance officer. Further, the topics I would like to cover in this section is that how this Australian government works. There are two governing bodies called federal government and local governments. So I would give a brief introduction on that, and the education system, what are the differences compared to Sri Lankan education systems. Sri Lanka works through a push system, and Australia does not work in a push system. It works in a basically pull system. I would basically cover what I mean by push system and a pull system. So you all know how you have been pushed to study by your parents, and go push you into a lot of classes, etc. In Australia, it doesn't work like that. Though people coming from our country still push their children, but even I, including myself, I push my children to study. But the Australian system's values are different. They don't impose education on children, but they want to enhance the interest of the child, so that the child will develop an interest in studying, and if he or she does like to further her studies, then she will do it on her own, and does not depend on the parents soon after their advanced level, or even before that. Some of the advanced level students even works for things like small McDonald's shops or some other shops, and they find their own money. So basically, the Australian system of education is different from what we see in Sri Lanka, and our value system is completely different from Australian system. Our system, in the sense I talked about, I am also coming from a Sri Lankan background, so our system is completely different how we think and how they think are completely two opposites almost in some aspects. But compared to living standards, comparatively we are all the same, except that for aged citizens, or those who are more than 55 years old, the living standards are very high in Australia. And but the quality of happiness is a different story. But the living standards, how what they get and how they live, how what they do to enjoy, compared to in Sri Lanka, is completely different in here. So I'm not saying where this is good and that is bad, or that is good and this is bad, but there are differences that we have to know. And as students, it may be important in your journey towards becoming an accountant. What are these differences? And if you are looking to further your education and become a global accountant rather than a local accountant, in that journey, some of the things that I discuss may enlighten you on how to clear your path towards that, towards achieving your goals. So if you have any questions, you can maybe send it to me or Chanaka, so I could answer your questions. And basically, what the main objective of my video clips in the future, as well as this, is to give you an insight on the journey that you will have to take, and what are the options that you have of becoming a global accountant. And the first steps may be you will have to do it locally, but if you do it right, if you take the necessary decisions and work a little bit more and sleep a little bit late, etc., and work a little bit smarter and a little bit harder, you will be able to achieve your goal of becoming a global accountant. And thank you for listening to me. I'm Lakshman Perera, calling from Alice Springs, and now our time is 12:37 a.m. On the 19th of April. And I wish you all the best, and may all your dreams come true. It's very cold in Alice Springs. We have started our winter now. And you can see I'm with coat and everything. So hope to see you next time, maybe with a different topic we'll be discussing. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Bye.